Here, ba-doom, ba-doom, we're going ba-doom, ba-doom. Here's the boundary line, sir. From here on in, it is true Harlem. I lived anywhere from here south many times. People packed the sidewalks from storefronts to the street. It could all go suddenly click like that, Kesey said. And we could sell this to a pawn shop 2,000 years from now as a curio from the 20th century. Bakers in white caps and white shirts leaned out of a second story window. What do you make up there? Kesey yelled. Bread, one of them yelled back. Got any dough? Ha ha. Throw him some money, Cassidy said. A round mouthed man blew smoke rings out of a camel cigarette billboard. Fluffy circles floated over the bus, dissipated in twirling tendrils. I need a cigarette, Cassidy said. Cigarette for pilot. You wanted the Viking Press building, Chief? Well, here we are. Madison Avenue, 23625 Madison Avenue, Viking Press. Is it illegal to double park in front? When in Rome, he stopped in the street. A Viking secretary wearing a green sheath dress, dark sunglasses covering her eyes, ran up to the bus. No, 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 this is totally wrong. Are all these people your guests? We're the merry band of pranksters, Kesey said. We're on our way to the cool place. Ken, there's a photographer up here from the Tribune. She pointed to a short, brown haired man in a brown corduroy sport coat, fiddling with a small camera. He scooted along the sidewalk. This way, Ken, he yelled. Ken, give me the vision. Ken Kesey, give me vision, Ken. No, no, not just the hand. Where's that bag of caramel popcorn you promised? Cassidy said. Popcorn, a euphemism for crosstops, slang for bennies, short for Benzedrine, 5 milligram tablets. I sent down a request, Kesey said. Put the pressure on someone down there. Pressure on, aye, sir. Keep it below the window line, Cassidy answered. There's tourists on the right. A middle-aged woman in a brown dress with thick bearded necklace and fiery hair, purse dangling from her finger, and a bald-headed man leaning against a pole, his bare arm pressing the wood. He smiled. We forgot to write tourists on the side, Cassidy said. But a vote for Barry is a vote for fun. That was painted on the side of the bus. The movie camera lingered on the faces of the onlookers. A woman, her lips pursed, her eyes shadowed, her hair black mantilla over her shoulders like a moth's wing. A bald, domed man with a 5 o'clock shadow, unlit cigarette in the side of his mouth. A young businessman, thick eyebrows, his mouth slightly open, serious but wondering. Earth calling, I said over the loudspeaker. This is Stevenson on Venus, relaying flash communications through a third suborbital satellite. Can you hear me, Earth people? No one reacted. Magazine covers for the clock to work, does it? I thought so. No one reacted. Magazine covers on a newsstand provided a colorful background. The bald, gap-toothed owner gave us a knowing smile. He's seen this all come by. This merely another episode in a long-running show. There went a man, Kesey said, with his hair twisted so tight, if he ever lifted his feet off the ground, he would fly like a goddamn kite. Hey, you guys, John Babbs yelled from the back platform. Here come the cops. Cassidy double parked in the right lane. We held up traffic as two policemen approached the bus. Kesey and I went out and talked to the officers, keeping Cassidy back, much to his disgust. You still have everyone you started out with? One of the cops asked Kesey. Hang on. Big fingers cannot turn small pages. We've lost some, Kesey said. One we sent to the nut house. And Neil Cassidy stood to the side. He bounced on his feet, waved his cigarette, watched the interaction, and commented quietly. The chief saw the intelligence in the officer's eyes as he appraised the situation and gave me a purposeful, quizzical look, and I answered his quizzicality with a wave. The conclave broke up, thanks to a load of legal blarney laid on by our sometimes lawyer, who had flown in from California to join us. He led the way back into the bus, and Cassidy revved up the engine, and we drove away.
May I ask you a few questions, please, sir?
Okay, ask away.
And I should mention that I'm recording you, just so you're aware.
Okay, I'm aware. I'm very aware.
First of all, they're having this event to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the first acid test. Was it, in fact, at your house somewhere in the Bay Area?
It was in Santa Cruz where I lived, and it was not announced in any way. I put a notice on the door of the Hip Pocket bookstore in downtown Santa Cruz that I was doing that at my house. And so we went there. We got all set up there with our musical instruments. The Merry Band of Pranksters, you know, is also a band that plays music, and we all tootled and fluted, and we knew no songs, but we just made them up as we went along. And so we were doing that, and then we took a little break and went out back to get a little high and commute with the moon and the stars. And while we were out there, we heard music coming from the house, real music. And we went in, and these four guys were in there playing our instruments. And they were going at it, and we kind of beat on drums and sticks and sang and everything with them, and until they took a break. And it turned out these four guys were the fellows that at the time their name were the Warlocks, the band, and that became the Grateful Dead. And that was how we got to know them the first time. And so as we took our show away from the house and went on the road and rented halls every Saturday night and did this affair we started calling the acid test. And people would have to pay $1 to come in, and we'd give them, the first time they came, we'd take their picture and with a Polaroid and paste it on an identification card and have them fill it out with their name, address, and all that stuff. On the other side, it was the acid test logo, and with that card, they could get into all the acid tests for $1. If they didn't have to pay, if they didn't have that card when they came to the door, they'd have to pay $1 to get in.
And which were the four members of the Warlocks that were there?
Who were they?
Was it Mr. Garcia, Jerry Garcia, and who else?
Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, Phil Lesh, and Bill Kreutzmann, the drummer. That's four,
and
right?
Was it at your party that they got renamed from the Warlocks to the Grateful Dead, or is that just lore?
That came later. That didn't happen that night. I know how they got named to the Grateful Dead. We were doing these acid tests, and we were doing one in San Jose. And the next day we were there in San Jose at a friend's house, and I was in there, and Jerry Garcia came in, and then we were talking, and he says, "We got to come up with a new name." I said, "Oh yeah, how you gonna do that?" And he reached up and took this book off the bookshelf right there, and it was the what was it? It was called the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And he opened it up and he read, "The chariot of the sun is carried across the sky by the Grateful Dead." Everybody went, "Ooh, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it." And so from then on, they were the Grateful Dead.
And there's like a little hand-drawn poster I've seen that talks about something, I think, in Soquel. Did you draw that poster? And was that the first announcement or was that later?
That was it. Yeah, that was the first one, and I did draw it. And I don't know if you know about this outfit called Relics that does in New York City, a big outfit. But the guy there named Patrick, we've got to know him and deal with him and order stuff over and everything. And he made up a shirt, there a T-shirt with on the front that first poster on there. I don't know how he did it, but he found the poster and he got it on the shirt. And Relics sells that shirt. The
And who
first
was the fellow at
acid
Relics that you all knew?
huh?
What was the name of the guy at Relics that was your friend?
Patrick. Can't remember his last name, Conroy or something like that. Yeah.
And I did that panel, Why Merry Pranksters Are Necessary. One of my only regrets was that you weren't there. Can you tell me why pranksters are necessary, sir?
Why they are necessary?
Yes.
Oh, because there's too much seriousness. And without pranksters to prick the bubble of all-knowing idiot, and I shouldn't say that, all-knowing people who lay down stuff and everything, who knows what the world would be like. Pranksters are very necessary. Pricking the bubble of, what is the word? Self-righteousness? No, of all-knowingness, something like that.
And there's a weird saying, never trust a merry prankster. And then I always say, never prank a truster. Why do you think any of that is true?
Well, because you can't ever trust a merry prankster because you don't know what they're going to do. And you think they're going to come in here and be solid citizens, but then they end up standing on their heads and riding a bicycle upside down.
And how can the merry pranksters make the world a better place in the year 2025 and 2026?
Well, by doing what we always do, which is to, when you get in a situation where it's getting kind of tense and maybe trouble is going to happen, to go in there and do silly things and get people laughing and kind of nullify the situation. The best you can, do what you can, and what you can't, you can.
And did you guys have any knowledge of MK Ultra, and how did Kesey get the acid out of the lab in Stanford?
No, we had no knowledge of NK Ultra, and we didn't get the acid out of Stanford. Kesey was doing an experiment there he got in on this experiment there that was being run by the government about acid. They'd go into a room and take acid. They was fed them and get paid $25, and they'd talk about and tell them what it was like and what the experience was like and everything. And so Kesey, at this place where they took it and did this, was the VA place in Menlo Park. And the office, well, he also had a job there at that VA. He was an aide. And he would be in there at night and watch from a room with a window of the patients at the VA hospital who were in this room. They'd be in this big room that was kind of their day room where they could, lounge and talk and do stuff. And he'd keep an eye on them. And he was up on the floor above him, looking through this big window down at him, keeping an eye on him. And right in the room on the wall was a door, and he realized that door led to the office of the doctor who had been giving him that LSD, the experiment that he was in on. So one night he got up and went over and went in there and looked around and went over to the desk and opened the drawer in the middle and looked, and there in the desk drawer was a box of LSD capsules. And so ooh, he picked that up and put that in his pocket and took it home with him. And that's how LSD got loose in his this place in Menlo Park where he lived called Prairie Lane. And so that people in there were suddenly not getting high on alcohol and pot, but also had LSD.
And was that from Sandoz Labs?
Well, who knows? I mean, the government, did they get them from
From the
Sandoz
government.
Labs?
And when did Owsley get involved, and when did you start getting material from Owsley?
How did we meet Owsley? He started showing up at the acid tests. Yeah, that's how we got to know him, and we knew about him. We knew that Owsley was this guy that manufactured LSD and and all that. And so he was then became a part of the scene with the Grateful Dead and the acid tests and the pranksters. And
And
so
we have a dear friend, Hugh Romney, who changed his name eventually to Wavy Gravy, and his lovely wife, Ja. Do you consider them pranksters, or were they hog farmers? And what was the connection of the two groups?
they were definitely hog farmers because they were from Southern California and we were from Northern California. But one time, Kesey and I were down there in Southern California at a friend's house, and the hog farmers, they weren't the hog. Yeah, I don't know if they had the name right then, but they lived on a hog farm. And when Kesey and I were there, they stayed at this guy's house. Hugh and his wife came up and visited with us, and we started from then on connecting and doing things together, and them showing up at the events and stuff, and us all being on the same team.
And can you tell me about your service to the country and the service of the other pranksters to the United States military and Department of Defense?
Well, in those days, the draft was still on, and you had to do something, to avoid the draft. A lot of people, oh, they got some kind of waiver or something like that. But myself, I was in college, and so I signed up for ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, because I decided if I was going to go in, I was going to go in as an officer. And but I didn't like it. For one thing, I picked the Navy ROTC. I didn't want to go in the Army, so I picked the Navy. And in the summer, as a midshipman in ROTC, I had to go on a cruise, what they called a midi cruise, and I was aboard a battleship, the Missouri, and for all summer, and I hated it. I mean, I was seasick, noise of the thing, just everything about it I didn't like. And I remember one night I was doing a midnight watch up on the bridge overlooking the ocean, and there was a Marine major in there, and I was talking to him, and because the Marine Corps, being part of the Navy, they always had Marines on battleships and carriers and things like that. Going back to the days of the sailing ships, when the Marines would be when the sailing ship would get in a battle with another sailing ship, the Marines would be up in the rigging, high up in the sails with rifles, and they would be shooting down at the other ship, trying to hit the officers, knock them out, and make things tough for them. And so that's always been the tradition. And after that, that was back, like in the Revolutionary War. But then that there'd be Marines on Navy ships. And so this Marine major, I was talking to him, and I said, I can't stand this, this ship. I just don't like it at all. I'm going to get back to school. I'm going to get out of ROTC. And he said, you don't have to do that. I said, why? He says, when you go back there, tell them you want to take the Marine option. I said, what's that? He says, well, the Marine being part of the Navy, you tell them that. Then when you graduate and you go into the service, you don't go into the Navy, you go into the Marine Corps. Oh, okay, that'll work. So it did. It worked out real good. I really liked being in the Marine Corps. For one thing, I went to flight school and went through flight training and picked helicopters as the thing I wanted to fly after we had gone through flown everything they had. I really liked the helicopter. And so when I got out of flight school, I got sent to a Marine Corps helicopter squadron and on the West Coast where I lived. It was perfect. It was really good. And then the weirdest thing of all happened in 1962. Our helicopter squadron was ordered, the whole squadron, to Vietnam. And up to that point, there had been no full outfits like that in Vietnam. They were all individual soldiers and Marines and that were, what did they call them? Shit, I can't remember what they call them. They had a word for them. But we were the first ones to go in as the whole outfit, and we did a whole 13 months in Vietnam, first down in the Delta and then up north in the mountains. And that was a hell of an experience, really something else. To be in Vietnam and then take leave and go out and be on the China Beach, famous China Beach, and go to Hong Kong and different places like that. It was really some experience.
And what year did they let you out of the service, and what was your rank?
I finally was a captain, and I was in for 5 years. So I went in 62. I almost got out in 5 and 2 is 767, something like that.
And was that all before you guys drove the first further bus to the World's Fair in August of '64?
That's a good question. Yeah, I got out before that, right? Okay, so I must have got out of it in just in '64, because yes, and then we took the bus to New York. Then
And
we
who
did
else
that.
was on the bus with you that went to New York?
Well, there were 14 of us.
Can you name as many as you remember?
Well, my brother John, a woman named Paula Sunston, Kesey, Jane Burton, Zonker, Hassler, uh, Kathy, yeah. Cassidy, yeah. Neil Cassidy was the driver. That was a neat thing. When Kesey got this bus and was going to take it to New York, and the purpose of this was his book, Sometimes a Great Notion, was coming out that summer, and he wanted to go to the publication party, and he wanted to make a big deal out of it. So he bought this school bus and had it all painted up and the seats all taken out and sound equipment in. And also, at that time, we had been recording, tape recording, lots of stuff. But by then, we were also video recording and acting out parts, making up parts and acting them out. So we were going to film and tape this whole trip to New York and back and come back and edit it and put it out as a movie, and it'll show on the big screen. And from then on, we'd be movie makers. That was the
And
plan.
one of my favorite pranksters was Paul Foster, but he wasn't on the original bus trip, was he?
No, he wasn't. Paul Foster was his own person and doing his own thing. He was a hell of an artist. Uh, Kesey did this book called, what was that book called, Eileen? The Journal, what was it? Where Paul Foster's pictures are in. Kesey's, what is that book? Garage Sale, yeah. It's called Garage Sale. As a book Kesey and I did one time later after. And Paul Foster, in the book, there's a screenplay by Kesey. And Paul Foster, along the right ends of the whole screenplay, drew single panels of a movie, and had the people in there and wore balloons talking and everything. Did the whole damn thing. It's a brilliant piece of work. Yeah, Paul Foster was a real genius, kind of a out there genius. Yeah.
And one of the things that I think you read in one of my memories was a vote for Barry is a vote for fun. Is that from the acid test graduation, and was that on the bus?
That came about because in '64, when we were taking the bus to New York City, Barry Goldwater was running for president. And we were going through Phoenix on our way. And so outside of Phoenix, we stopped and we painted on the side of the bus, both sides. A vote for Barry is a vote for fun. And then we all got up on the top with our instruments and tootled and sang and everything and drove up and down the streets of Phoenix backwards. Having people out on the sidewalks laughing and pointing and everything, and then went out of town.
And when Kesey was a fugitive and went to Mexico, did you ever go to Mexico with him and Cassidy?
When he was, oh, did we ever? Yeah, we were doing the acid test in L.A., Los Angeles, and
That was in Watts, or was that a different one in LA?
yeah, Watts was part of it. That was the first one in L.A. was at Watts. And then there were other locations. We would rent movie studio buildings and hold them in there. And this one Saturday that was coming up, California was criminalizing LSD. So we knew we were going to have to stop doing that. And Kesey figured they'd be after him. So he split one night when we were doing one of the acid tests and went to Mexico. And so then when we decided to quit doing the acid tests, we took the bus and drove down to Mexico and met up with him in Mazatlan and went on down the coast to this little town called Manzanillo. And he rented the two houses side by side, and we all and parked the bus between them, and we all lived down there for like 6 months until our visas expired.
And that was when Neil died, is that correct?
No, Neil was very alive for that, all through all that.
And did you ever hear Kesey sing the song Tarnished Galahad, which is, I think, from the acid test graduation in October of '66? There's a recording of Kesey doing a rap, Tarnished Galahad. It's pretty amazing. Do you have any memories of that?
Well, that was he decided when he came back, that he would have an acid test graduation, right? And we'd be done with that and we could go on and do other stuff. And so he rented this place in Berkeley, and it was a auditorium, I think, to have this final scene. And that's where he did that once he got up and sang.
And was that October 6, 1966? Do you remember?
If you say so.
That's just what the tape says, but no one knows if it's true.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Who knows? Another one of my favorite people is
Go ahead. What did you say?
Another one of my favorite people is George Walker, who was called Hardly Visible. Tell me one memory about George.
He was called Hardly Visible because he'd always wear these fluorescent outfits and bright things. And so he got that name Hardly Visible because he was brightly visible. Well, George, yeah, he was George
in December.
Huh?
I'm hoping he's going to be here with you and me on the call in December, but it's all dependent on his health and his travel with Bus Randy.
Yeah, well, he's still going strong. he bought a bus, I don't know how long ago, and was going to make that his bus, and he's been working on that ever since. I don't know how many years now.
I think it's called Farther.
Huh?
I think it's
What?
called Farther.
Farther.
Another person that I'm quite fond of is Denise Kaufman, who eventually got called Mary Microgram. Do you have any memories of Denise from back in the day?
Oh yeah, she was real good. She was a real good musician too, but she was really a lot of fun. She was a ball of fire. But the reason she got that name was from one night when she took too much acid and was up all night higher than a kite. But I
And I've
can't
met
remember the specific.
and I met your son Simon. He's one of the first gens. When did Mountain Girl show up, and what do you remember about MG?
Mountain Girl. Well, I I can't remember what. Oh yeah, yeah. She was down in she was newly come to California from the east, and she was down in Palo Alto hanging around, and she at this coffee shop ran into Cassidy and talked to him and everything, and he talked her into going with him up to Kesey's place up in La Honda, which is up on the hill between Palo Alto and the coast, to see Kesey's place. So that's when she first showed up there at his place. And she just liked it so much she stayed.
Is there anything that you want to tell the future generations of what they should remember the most about you and the pranksters, sir?
Yeah, what they should remember the most is forget we ever lived and do your own damn thing.
And
No,
do I
but
have permission from you
I
to
do.
share this recording with the world, sir?
What?
And do
Yeah,
I
good.
have permission to share this with the world?
What, did I just said that?
Everything I just recorded for the last half hour or so.
Yeah, see if you can sell it and we can get some money out of it.
Heck yeah. And what's the name of your book? And where do they call Tsunami Press to buy a copy if they don't get it at the show on December 12th at Humphreys?
Okay, here's the book. This is a great book that I had written all these stories, and finally I put them all together in a book. In this book, there's 7 short stories in there, plus other stuff. And I had this previous book published, "Who Shot the Water Buffalo," which is a novel about Vietnam. And so I picked up an agent in New York. And so when I did this book, Cronies, I sent it to her, and she liked it, and so she tried to sell it back on the East Coast to a publisher, and none of them would take it. None of them were even interested in it. And so I said, "Well, let's just self-publish." And so I got the manuscript, and I was going to do it myself. I found the place to do it, where this place that would create the actual book, a quality book, quality cover, and quality pages, quality font, all that. And I was ready to go. And but then this wonderful bookstore in Eugene, Oregon, Tsunami Books, the owner, Scott Landfield, who's a good friend of mine, he says, I'll publish it. Let me publish it. He says, and then we won't just be a bookstore, we'll also be a press. And this will be the first book off the press. All right. And so I was already all set up, well, since I was going to self-publish, to where to get the actual book made, by companies that do that. And so we had it made, and so I told him what I wanted and told him all the stuff I wanted, everything, and it turned out to be just a fantastically great book. I mean, the quality of the book itself, the pages, the paper, the font, the cover. Oh yeah, this woman in Eugene, an artist, she designed the cover for us on her own. She heard about it and she designed the cover, and it's just perfect. I'll hold it up here again. There you
And
can
they
see it.
can buy that from Tsunami Books in Eugene, Oregon, correct, sir?
Yes, yes. Go to tsunamibooks.org, O-R-G, and order and just tell them what you want, and you can get it. You
And the
know, and all
copies
books are
signed
signed.
by you.
Huh?
And they
What?
sell copies that you signed.
I've signed them all. Every book is signed. I go in there every once in a while, and they bring out boxes of books, and one by one, I sign every one of them, and so they have boxes and boxes of signed books there ready to go.
And one of the things that you did that inspired me was you called the book a burlesque. Why did you call it a burlesque, sir?
Well, that's a good question. What's his name? That guy in New England that was the famous writer of the tales. I can't remember his name. What was his name, Eileen? Huh? I can't think of it either. She can't think of it either. Okay, what was the books he wrote? He wrote the tales of those New England guys. Oh, geez, why can't we think of that? You should know that.
Oh, I always thought that you called it a burlesque because it was your memories, but it was also slightly embellished to be a good story. So you had some liberty there versus being a nonfiction account of your memories that may have been imperfect given all the circumstances.
That's good. But no, burlesque is an actual true literary form from way back in 1700s when this famous writer who did the tales about the crazy people up in New England. Oh God, what was his name? Famous. He was the most famous writer of his time. He's the first writer to make a living off of writing in America. And this book he wrote, these tales, he called a burlesque. And he got that name from a real old thing about books. And the definition of it is it's a tale embellished with exaggerations and inventions, a historical occurrence embellished with inventions and exaggerations. And so when
Perfect.
I heard that about that, I said, "Oh, that's perfect for this book. I'm calling this a burlesque, just right in that tradition."
And do
Washington
you,
Irving, Washington Irving was the guy who wrote the tales from up there in the 1700s, up in the northeast part of the country, and he called his book a burlesque. And with that definition, a tale that's embellished with invention, a historical occurrence embellished with inventions and exaggerations. And when I read that, I says, "Oh, that is perfect for my book. It's a burlesque."
I think it's perfect for Cronies as well, and I find it quite inspiring as a young author. Do you have any memories of Lee Quanstrom?
Oh, Lee Crosstrom, sure, yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great pal. Yeah, yeah, he was always there doing stuff with us. Lee, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't even remember anything specific. He was just one of those guys that was always there, part of our gang, and just did everything that we did.
He
But I
has a
can't. What?
I enjoyed Lee's book as well. And another guy that was at the panel was Julius. Any
Julius
memories of
Carpent.
Julius?
Julius Carpent. That was his
What do
name.
you
Julius
remember about
Carpent.
Julius, sir?
Huh?
What are
What?
your favorite memories of Julius?
Well,
And was he a manager for Big Brother or was it the airplane? I
yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah, he was. He was the manager for Big Brother. He was a real San Francisco character. Yeah. And he kind of wanted to be our manager too, but we were too ill-formed and too loosey-goosey. He couldn't keep us all together to manage, but he joined up with us and was part of our gang for quite a while. Yeah, he was a good guy.
I liked him a lot when I met him in San Francisco. There's a panel on Vimeo called Why Merry Pranksters Are Necessary. And then last but not least, we're going to have an anniversary show with the Garcia Project up in Oregon next March. If you're healthy, are you going to go to that show with Mick and his lovely wife, Kat?
Well, I guess I'll be ready for it. When is that happening?
Early March in Eugene on their tour in 2026. I think right around the spring equinox or spring whatever it is.
Sure, yeah, I'll be up for that.
Any final words before we sign off for tonight?
What? Oh, she's talking to the cat. That's my final word.
All right, sir, it's been a great honor being your friend. I look forward to hosting you at the Turtles Feast on December 12th at Humbrew's by way of modern technology. And let's have another rehearsal in a couple of days. And they have eternal thanks and love for you, sir. You are one of my friends and mentors.
Thank you. You too. You too. All back at you. Back at you.
Good night, and thank you to your lovely wife, Eileen, for helping us tonight. And let's talk again in another few days before they do this broadcast on Thursday and recognition of the new plaque at San Jose City Hall for San Jose Rocks.
All right. Okay, good.
Good night, sir. Let's talk again soon.
Good night, and good night to all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.